Hello and welcome to U.S. Studies Online. My name is Melissa Blank, and I am excited to start this term with you all. I'm going to go over the slides for today with you, and then your assignments have already been posted to the Google Classroom. If you have any questions or need any assistance, please feel free to email me. That's the best way to get a hold of me through the school Gmail. So let's get started. Today we are starting with the Reconstruction after the U.S. Civil War. And let me get my slideshow going here. So the Civil War was fought between the year 1861 and 1865. It's fought between the northern states, which were known as the Union, and the southern states known as the Confederacy. Of course, the southern states were wanting to preserve the institution of slavery. The Union states were wanting to abolish it. The Union states were led by Ulysses S. Grant, and the Confederacy was led by Robert E. Lee. And as I said, it was fought over the issue of slavery. What does freedom mean to you? So there's a lot of different words that we can associate with freedom. Do me a favor, and as your attendance assignment today, please type in a word or two of what freedom means to you in the stream. And that's the way I know that you guys are all present and attending today. So let's read from the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment was passed on January 31st, January 31st, 1865. It abolished slavery throughout the United States. Part of the 13th Amendment states neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Essentially, allowing for the use of forced labor if you have been incarcerated, which is still part of the US penal system today. So the years that Reconstruction took place, 1865 to 1877. This is a turbulent era following the Civil War, when attempts were made to address the inequities created by slavery and the readmission of the Confederacy to the Union. So there were a lot of questions that people had about Reconstruction. Whose voices are we going to include in the process of binding up the wounds of the United States? Who should be included and who should be excluded in the nation that would reemerge from the Reconstruction? Meaning, should we leave out some of these Southern statesmen who basically committed treason by leaving the United States? Could a nation heal if the former Confederates felt that they were being punished by a loss of power and status, meaning we're not going to let you all do anything? Would it work? Could democracy thrive if African Americans were not guaranteed equal rights in the new nation? And how could the nation balance the goals of healing and justice? These were all the questions that were going around. And to be quite honest, there wasn't a great solution amongst them. So we're going to look at two different plans today. The first plan for Reconstruction was by President Johnson. He was the vice president for Abraham Lincoln and took over as president when Lincoln was assassinated. And his plan focused on restoring the United States. Well, that sounds good, right? But the radical plan focused on remaking the United States as well, but they are also promoting advances in the rights of the African Americans or the formerly enslaved. And essentially that's later going to be undermined by Johnson and his plan. So the failure of the presidential Reconstruction plan. President Johnson offered pardons to white Southern elite. He allowed the new state governments a free hand in managing local affairs, basically saying, hey, whatever you guys decide to do is great. I'm not going to stand in your way. The conduct of white Southerners, meaning, excuse that, I'm getting text messages. I apologize for that. Meaning that if you were allowed to do things in the past, we're not going to stop you from doing them again. And basically that meant violence towards the Republican North and what their ideas was. And former slaveholders returned to power. So essentially, Johnson's plan basically said, let's keep doing it the same old, same old. The only difference is now these formerly enslaved African Americans are free, quote unquote, but how free is up to you all. So that's all for today. What I want you to do is watch the videos and please work through any of the assignments attached to them. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Hope you have a good one, and I'll see you again tomorrow.